Hey folks, and welcome back to the Leeds Gamer. Leeds have had a victory in the third round of the FA Cup. Leeds' opponents were Derby County of the Championship. Game was played at their home ground, Pride Park, and the referee was Anthony Taylor, who refereed a Leeds game not that long ago. I'd rather not see him referee Leeds games. I don't rate him. He did play a good advantage though after the linesman put his flag up to say that it was a free kick to Leeds in Leeds' half, but Taylor waved play on and Leeds took advantage of that by scoring the third goal. Difficult match to analyse really, because there was a lot of player changes and realistically Leeds need to focus on staying in the Premier League. But then on the flip side, it was an opportunity for some players who have not played that much this season to get some game time. So let's have a little look at it. Go straight to the lineups to start with. So Leeds started the game with Carl Darlow in goal, a back three of Seb Bornout, Jacoby All and Ethan Ampadu, a midfield four of Wilfred Gnonto, Autanaka, Ilya Gruev and Jack Harrison, with the front three being Noah Okafor, Joel Peru and Lucas Mecha. For Derby, it was Zetterstrom in goal, a back four of Ward, Langas, Bath and Forsyth, a midfield four of Barrett Diaz, Travis Fraulo and Blackett Taylor, with Clark supporting Salverson up front. So from Leeds' perspective, when you look at that lineup, Darlow only had that brief spell in goal whilst Perry was injured. Bornau's had a recent run of games deputising for Joe Rodon. But Beale's been in the team recently, as has Ampadu. Harrison's not played much. Gruev, again, has had a little bit of a spell in the team, but not that much. Tanak has been very in and out of the team. Gnonto's not played much, again, due to Leeds not really using wingers in recent times. Pirro's been third choice striker, or fourth choice striker in some cases, so he's not played much. Noah Okafor's been in and out of the team, again, partially because we've not played with wingers, but then again he has played up front alongside DCL at times. And then Lucas Mecha was getting game time until he got injured, and then he basically lost his place up front after that. Partially down to the former DCL, but partially due to different partnerships being used up front. So I'm just trying to figure out what that marker is next to Zetterstrom. I don't know, maybe it doesn't. It's not clear what that marker is, to be honest, but anyway. So let's break this down a bit. So Derby County were the first scorers in the match, scoring in the first half, with Ben Barrett and Diaz getting the goal on 35. Second half, Leeds actually turned up and then scored on the 55th, 59th and 93rd minute of the game. When it comes to the subs, James Justin came on for Seb Bornow, if I remember right. Sean Longstaff came on. Who did Longstaff come on for? Was it Gruev? Or was it Okafor? Gruev, I think. Yeah, Longstaff came on for Gruev. 73. 73, yeah, he came on for Gruev, yeah. And then the late subs of Sam Byram, Anton Stack and Brendan Harrison for Derby. Made earlier subs obviously in the game. Adams came on at half time. Ozo and Brewster then came on a bit later, and then Eames and Aguiman a bit later. Still, players not to get on the match: Perry, Strout, Calvert-Lewin and Chambers for Leeds. O'Donnell, Nelson, Elder and Vyman failed to come on for Derby. In terms of unavailable players, just James and Bogle for Leeds. Carlton Morris, who's had a decent season for them up to now in terms of scoring goals, he was injured. Max Johnson and Owen Beck also unavailable. So, with this in mind, let's have a look at the stats. Leeds, more possession, more expected goals, more total shots, more on target. I mean, second half in particular, it was virtual domination. First half, Derby weren't too bad for the first 20 minutes, but I felt that Leeds, a bit later on actually, in spite of them getting a goal in the first half, Derby, even for most of the second half, or at least there was a period of time where Leeds upped the tempo. They started doing a higher press, they were moving it quicker, they were moving themselves quicker, and ultimately this only came about after a relatively slow start in the first half. Derby were quite dirty at times, and again another reason why I don't want Anthony Taylor refereeing Leeds games. He let Derby get away with so many fouls and not yellow carding them. Forsyth, I mean, he's getting on a bit now, and it showed. He was committing a lot of fouls and should have been booked for persistent fouling. But there was one particular one on Willie Nonto that was quite a high boot, stood showing, caught Nonto on his foot, and probably, if you yellow card him for persistent fouling up to that point, that then becomes a second yellow and he's off. Joe Lynch at the Leeds View said that he reckoned that Taylor just couldn't be arsed being there, and that might have been the case. He'd refereed Leeds not that long ago, so maybe he was just sick of seeing him. I don't know. However, with all this being said, Leeds dominating the expected goals, Leeds dominating the shot tallies here. Derby, as you'd expect with all of that, being pretty dominant with the defensive side of things. Duel wise, pretty even with different types of duels. Only 2 yellow cards given out in the entire game, which was I don't know. When you look at the number of fouls committed, 24 fouls in the entire game and only 1 yellow card apiece, and the yellow card, I think, for one of those yellow cards was just dissent. It wasn't even to do with the challenge that was made. So, yeah, the only advantage of this game being played at 12 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon is the fact that when the game had finished, I still had time to get to the supermarket to go and get some basics. I didn't like the kick-off time. Didn't like the fact it was on a Sunday. Didn't like the fact it was an away game again. We don't get that many home fixtures in either of the 2 cups. Don't Leeds? It's pretty poor. Yeah. Oh my god. Ouch. 10-1. Holy shit. I mean, I had Man City down for a win, but I didn't expect anyone to get 10 goals. Holy crap. Exeter's going to feel pretty shit after that one. I know there's a massive gulf in quality, but still. That's a stinger, isn't it? Bloody hell. I'm just having a quick scan through these other scores. I mean, there's a couple of big ones, isn't there? I mean, Boreham was been battered. Exeter's been battered. I mean, again, you'd expect Man City to get a comfortable victory against Exeter, wouldn't you? But there's not anyone on the planet that would have predicted 10-1. Not unless they were drunk. That was crazy. Big win for Wolves as well, 6-1. Again, you know, there's a massive gulf in quality, but you know, Wolves couldn't have dreamed of scoring 6 goals against anyone this season until the recent games where they've actually picked up in form. Some crazy scores. These matches are still ongoing at the minute. Yeah. So, no massive Whoa! I say no massive shocks. Mansfield are currently 4-2 up against the Blunts. Oh my god. Wow. Wigan got the better of Preston. Macclesfield obviously getting the better of Palace. I saw some little snippets of that game yesterday. Fair play to Macclesfield. But yeah, 6-1 to Wolves, and you know, Burnley gave Millwall a bit of a walloping and all, didn't they? 5-1. Again, Burnley never dreamed of scoring 5 goals in a match this season, and up to now. You know, I've just got to have a quick look at this, folks. My God, look at that. 2 own goals as well. Jesus, that would have been a stinker. What were the lineups? Trafford, Ake. See, Elaine's a young player, isn't he? Kozanov, I think he's fairly young. Lewis, I think, is that Rico Lewis? I think he goes through their academy, didn't he? Rodri, Semenyo. Oh, so they have signed Semenyo now then. Rangers, Cherky, Makaido, I think must be a kid. And they started with Haaland. Bloody hell. And then who came on? O'Reilly. Silva got some time. And Docker. Well, got a couple of players unavailable of Man City right now, haven't they? But again, the squad's so strong. I mean, what are you going to do? So who got the one solitary goal for Exeter then? Birch, and he got it in the 90th as well. So that could easily have been 10-0. Good God. That's probably a record score in the FA Cup. I don't know if anyone's ever beaten anyone or scored 10 goals against anyone in the FA Cup before. That's a walloping. Insofar as FOTMob's player ratings, Outenacker, Wilfred Nonto, Lucas Mecha. I thought Mecha played okay. He was involved in all 3 goals, to be fair to him. Biol, Ampadu, Justin. You see, all of those are Leeds players, and Justin was a sub. Diaz, the best player on the pitch for them, but again, he'll get the rating for scoring the goal. Okfo, Perrault, Darlow, Harrison, and then Clark, the next best for Derby. It's very much in Leeds' favour, isn't it? These top FOTMob ratings. Man of the match went to Nonto, I think, if I remember right. Who had a good game, scored a fantastic first goal. That were a belter. Zetterstrom, who was having... I mean, to be honest, I thought Zetterstrom was probably Derby's best player. And he's their goalkeeper. So, there we go. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that, folks. It's an FA Cup match. It's not really, it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, we'll just compare the first and the second halves here. Yeah, I mean, like first half starts. I mean, I think second half's going to say a lot, isn't it? Yeah. It was a very comfortable game for Leeds for the most part, and again the second half really was quite dominating. Derby didn't cause Leeds any problems. Darlow didn't have a lot to do in the match. It's kind of hard to analyse because though it wasn't an amazing game of football, Tanaka was pretty good in the middle of the park, didn't give the ball away too often. It's the first time that Eustace has. So it's the first time that Farker's got the better of Eustace whilst he's been Leeds manager. So that's good. It's always quite nice getting a win against Derby, considering the whole Spygate crap that went on, and a lot of the Derby fans giving it a load of that, and they didn't have a lot of ammunition to keep that going the longer the match went on. So I don't think there's anyone in the team that's really kind of said, right, yeah, manager, you should be picking me for the next league game. I mean, again, I still want to see Metcher up front with DCL. I really do. I think that will cause a lot of teams some problems. I don't know what's happened to Jack Harrison. I mean, alright, he's not getting a lot of game time, so it's difficult for him to really impact, when he does play, but he seems to be a shadow of the former player. I might do a video on Harrison, and just have a look at his career and just see where things have gone wrong and why it's gone wrong. There was a couple of times where he got a couple of good crosses in and whatnot, but he's not the player he used to be, and he's still in his 20s, so he really shouldn't be having a downtime now. Like if he was in his mid to late 30s, I could understand it, but not at his current age. Nice to see Sam get a couple of minutes. I'd have started Sam Barham if he were fit enough, but I think he had a back issue. The 3 goals were good. The 3 goals were really well taken. I mean, in the first half, Joel Pirro had an attempt that hit the post, which was quite unlucky. But there wasn't a right lot to talk about in that first half, and then the second half it was, as I say, far more dominating from Leeds. I mean, it was a different kind of formation. We went with kind of like a 3-4-3, if you like. I didn't. I mean, to be honest, it surprised me that we went with 3 at the back. I thought we'd have probably tried 4 at the, just a standard back 4 and gone with it that way. Just due to the fact we're against lower opposition, but the game did have a bit of a championship feel to it in a way, really. And I think that Leeds, certainly in the first 20 minutes or so, probably dropped their standards down to where Derby's are currently at, and that's a dangerous thing in a cup match. You don't want to bring your standards down. So Leeds played a lineup today that was definitely strong enough to beat probably anyone in the championship, really. But they'll need to play a lot better if we're going to get anything out of Fulham. But yeah, I'll leave it there, folks. Big thank you for watching. Sorry for sounding a bit kind of meh. I'm very tired. But I just wanted to get a a quick review out there. Do please subscribe to the channel, do please hit the like button and hype the video as well. Plenty more content coming out very soon, both football and video game related. So in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.